Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another Etheria restart video, and it's officially open beta launch day. I'm going to do a guide for Lian because she's the SSR DPS character that we all get straight away. Like, we're just going to get hooked up with this girl, and she's really good at what she does, and then kind of not very good at everything else. So if I throw my tier list that I made for the beta on the screen, I have her sitting at tier 2 right there in the middle. She is a DPS monster. She's going to put out a lot of damage for your team. Her real issue is she doesn't provide any like crowd control. Her utility is very limited and she gets blown up pretty easy. To further illustrate that point, here's her stats that you see on the screen. Now this is her stats as like a level 50 maxed out character. Notice the green arrows first. Let's start with the good. Her crit rate, crit damage, those are tied for the highest base crit and crit damage in the game. She comes in with 30% crit and 162 crit damage when she's maxed out. That's awesome. And her attack at 1785 is third in the game. Those are phenomenal. You're gonna love that. Everything else is either like mediocre or bad. Her speed is like mediocre at 121 base. It's whatever. You're going to want to build some speed. We'll get there later. Her HP and defense are atrocious. 12, 784 HP, 818 defense, ranks her at number 47. And as an SSR character, you really don't want to be ranked 47th in HP and defense. So she's pretty squishy. No effect accuracy and no effect resist. She does have, like I mentioned, a little bit of utility. She has the ability to steal some turn meter from the enemy with her skill 3. However, not coming with any effect accuracy will hurt her there. And you might need to like find some on a substat somewhere. I don't think you're going to main stat effect accuracy, but you're going to want to find it in some substats if you want that to be reliable. Now, going over her skills real quick. Imperial Scorch, this is her like bread and butter move. It's one where she like busts her sword like a, Bankai move from Bleach or something. Anyway, she releases her sword's restraint, unleashes all the power, 300% damage to all enemies, 80% chance to steal 30% turn meter. That 80% chance is based pretty high, so I see why they didn't give her any more effect accuracy. But again, like some of these bosses are gonna have effect resist, and they're gonna check that 80% unless you find a way to boost it. So that's that skill. It's a really good skill. Does a lot of damage and steals some turn meter from the targets. That's nice. It'll give her more turns. It'll take away their turns. It's her best skill. Afterwards, she starts falling off a little bit after that. So like Blazing Wings is an AoE attack, but it's 4 single target attacks consecutively of 160% damage to a random enemy. Now, for each buff she has, an additional Phoenix is summoned up to 3. So she's going to be somebody that wants to team with people that can give her buffs and cover her weaknesses. So Tiamat just comes to mind. Tiamat's going to give her shield. Tiamat's going to give her regen. Those are 2 things to help her fire more phoenixes, and they help keep her alive. Those are the things she needs. She scales off of buffs she could get from her teammates. That's what this skill right here means. So anyway, when phoenixes hit the same target though, their damage dealt is reduced by 20% up to 3 times. This, in theory, is a really good boss killing move, except it is hurt because like it's still really good. If there's only 1 target out there and you got 7 shots of this, sure, your first and second shot are going to hit really hard, and then you're still down to 100% damage. It's still a big boss killing move. They just put that little bit on there to keep it from being almost like too good. Anyway, on a 3-turn cooldown, when it's maxed out, you can do it a lot. And then her, her basic attack, her skill 1, she just, channels flames around her blade, 3 hits of 90% damage to a single enemy. She does lifesteal a little bit right here, which is nice. And then for each type of buff she has, the damage goes up by 6%. So continue to scale off of buffs. I can't stress enough, pairing her with Tiamat's a really good idea. Pairing her, and like while we're on that topic, people she would like to party with. Let's talk about that for a second. She wants people that can either redirect damage, right? Like what Tiamat can do, or provide actual crowd control effects. Like if I jump down, there's a ton of crowd controllers down here in the SR categories, right? Now, she also, Gray, really good partner for her because Gray's out here giving buffs. She likes people that gives buffs, as we just talked about. But like take Valerian, for example, right? Valerian can put people to sleep. Putting people to sleep will help them not hurt our girl Lian. So run her with people who can do crowd control, run her with people who can redirect damage, and people who can give her buffs. That's the world in which she's going to thrive in. Now, let's talk about her builds real quick. Early game. I think she's very simple to build early game. I think early game, you're looking at Onslaught for the attack plus and Swift Rush. You have access to these almost immediately. So I think in the early games, you just kind of piece together set bonuses out of Swift Rush and Onslaught. Now, as the game progresses a little bit and you get access to more drops, I think you can look towards Momentum, Fury, and Keen Eye. These are the three that I would say. And by the way, if you have really good pieces of Onslaught and Swift Rush gear, those are also good late. But these other three become good for her as well. So Keen Eye, for example, crit damage. She's going to crit. This girl's, she's critting or she's not working. So more crit damage is good. And the first 3 instances of damage dealt by animuses during the turn increased by 25, 15, and 5%. She has that like boom, boom, boom multi-hit attack move. You can boost it a little bit more. I really do like Keen Eye a lot on her. Momentum is a good one for more crit rate. If you are not critting enough, Momentum will give you some crit. And then we have Fury, which will just give you more attack and boost your crit damage when you land a crit. Those are the gear sets I really like for her. I wouldn't be going defensive gear sets. I know it might look like she's a character that wants to, maybe like cover her weaknesses a little bit. Let me get my face off the screen. I realized I'm like blocking the whole left side. I would focus on what she can do, and which is, make her go fast and hit a lot and hit really hard. And then let your team cover for her. I think that's where she's going to be most effective. Now, when it comes to your specialized cores, right? The ones where you can only have one piece of them equipped at a time. Let's look at those. There's 2 that I really like. Swift Raid and Fury Edge. Swift Raid is pretty cool because it's going to give you speed and attack. Go more, do more damage. That's great. And I think that's like a really basic one to recommend. My actual favorite one on her, though, is Fury Edge, because Fury Edge is crit rate and crit damage. I mean, crit rate, crit damage. Those are is a DPS character. Crit rate, crit damage are real good. Either way, those are the 2 like specialized cores that I like on her. When it comes to shells, let's talk about shells for a minute. Early game, like if we're filtering this for early game, let me throw an early game guy in here, Budo Panda. So I don't really know that it matters a ton what you're getting early game. You're really looking to, there's Budo Panda. You're looking for matrix bonuses, right? Like this Budo Panda has 2 Swift Rush and 2 Harvest. So if I was building like Swift Rush and Harvest, and I don't necessarily recommend Harvest, but the 4 set bonus is 10% attack. It is what it is. So if this will help you get there, that's great. But like if you can get a Swift Rush bonus, that's really what you're looking for early on. Now, if you get somebody like Budo Panda, who I do like for her early, he does give you more DPS. So look for like a DPS boosting skill and matrixes early game to help you finish off your matrix effects. Now, as we get later, there's some that I really like on her. Let's start with Count. Count is going to give you 1200 flat attack and life leech. She already has lifesteal built into her, so if she's not getting one shot and she doesn't have enough healing, like with whatever team comps you're running with her, this guy can help her heal herself more often. I do think that's good. And again, because he's an offensive based guy, he's going to give you, like your Fury Edges, your Onslaughts. He's going to give you the matrix effects that you like. Law of Silence is a good one if you're dying too much, especially if you're getting like one shot. So at the start of battle, puts the owner's animus into a 1-turn void. What void does, gives you 60% effect resist. So getting SAS effect to death, this could be nice, especially right off the bat, maybe in PvP or something like that. Also, can't be selected as the main target of enemy skill and reduces AoE damage by 50%. If you're having too much trouble just getting blown up, boom, I think this is your guy. And because again, he's an offensive guy, here, let me find one with better matrix effects on him. I'll scroll down here. Like, he's gonna give you some good matrix effects, right? Like, let me find one with their Fury, Onslaught. There's like Fury Edge, Harvest. He's got those offensive based matrix effects on him that are really good. And then we got White Fang. This is probably my favorite one. Honestly, White Fang's probably my favorite one. Notice the good matrix effects that he come with as an offensive boy. And then after the owner takes action, follow up on the main target, 2 hits of 140% damage. On a crit, increase the owner's animus's crit damage by 6% up to 6 stacks. You can stack up some massive crit damage with this guy. That's why White Fang is my favorite, like, late game shell on Lian. Now, with your modules, one thing I want to talk about is going to be substats. So let me just throw up some Swift Rush gear right here. If we're looking at this gear for substats, what you're looking for is attack, crit rate, crit damage, and speed. And if I was going to order them from most important to least, I think crit damage and crit rate would be your top 2, then attack bonus and speed would be tied at 3rd. If you can, find some effect accuracy. Not every piece of gear is going to be perfect, so if you can find effect accuracy, that will help you with her skill 3 on landing that turn meter steal. I do think as you get into later game, getting that effect accuracy will be important for a character that comes with actual 0 from herself. Now, the gear I already have on her gives her like 10. I should have unequipped everything, but she's sitting at 0 base. Okay, what's she good at and what's she bad at? She's good at doing damage, but there's a couple things I want to mention. Terrormaton here, this guy, she's really good at farming him because Terrormaton is a green guy. And if we, let me jump into this fight real quick, because you can pull up the elemental thing in a fight or from the character screen, but I'm really close to this fight. So let's pull up this elemental resistance deal. Look at this. Let me put my face back on the screen. All right. If you have advantage against an opponent that you're fighting, you get 15% crit rate and you deal 50% more damage. That's fantastic for a DPS character. However, if you're at disadvantage, you have 30% reduced crit rate, 50% reduced effect accuracy, RIP, and you reduce the damage you deal by 15%. Let me tell you what that means. Lian, who is reason, or fire, as I like to call it, because it's fire, earth, and water, it looks like to me, or reason hollow odd, which I'll forget every time I make a video. Anyway, she red. Red is going to smoke green. Terrormaton is green. She's going to crush this fight. However, if we back out of this fight, which again, you're going to want to farm this fight a little bit, this fight early on drops your onslaught and your wellspring. So you're going to have characters that scale off health. That's great. Onslaught's going to give you attack. Farming this isn't the worst. But my favorite fight to farm early game is Doki Doki, because Doki Doki's out here giving you Swift Rush. And basically, this is like a W farm because there's not very many characters in the game that don't want some Swift Rush. So if you just have like energy to blow, Doki Doki, in my opinion, or that's where I'm going to blow a lot of my extra energy if I have it. Do you like how my light just turned off? That's cool. Let's just take my camera off the screen for a second. Anyway, Doki Doki's my favorite farm in that like early, mid, and mid game for those Swift Rush gears. Lian's going to suck at this fight. Now, early on, it's not going to matter because you're just going to kind of like stat check everything. Fix my light. Anyway, you're just going to kind of like run over everything. Once you get to the point where you're fighting like hard 3 and nightmare and like hell, it's really important to be efficient, and you're not going to want to run a fire character into water. You know what I mean. I know I said it wrong. You know what I mean. So really good at Terrormaton, really bad at Doki Doki. Doki Doki's her worst thing. The story, the campaign, she's going to crush all of that. Anyway, she's a really good damage dealing character. Like Lian's a character that's going to do damage for you. You're going to like her for that. She has an alternate outfit. That's pretty good. I kind of dig that alt outfit, to be honest. Nice. Okay. The pink jacket and all that. Oh, sweet. Okay. That's the video, guys. That's my little Lian guide. So good luck. I hope y'all enjoy the open beta. Hope you enjoy playing with your Lian. It's really late. I'm going to go sleep. I'll see y'all in game. Peace.